Happy Earth Day, fam. We're thrilled to have you. Plantish Live is here. Chef Cecilbeck and I go live Tuesdays, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we are here to do it again. We're thrilled that you're tapping in or that maybe you're going to watch the replay later, but we're excited to have you. Please share in the chat where you're tapping in from, where you're sitting right now. Do you have your cup of coffee, your matcha? What's your drink starting of the day, your juice? We're thrilled that you're here with us, and we are going to get this party started. It is Earth Day, and so what a day to have our guest join us. And we're thrilled. We'll be introducing him in just a moment. I see people coming in. Hello, Clover Valley Culinary. Thank you for coming in. Hello, Chef Nishant. Thank you for calling, checking in with us from India, right? Oh my goodness. Let's see. I've accepted that. Yes, yes, yes. We are working our way up. Hello, Chef.
Hi, happy Earth Day. How are
Yep.
you?
I'm good. It's Earth Day.
It is. And Taco Tuesday and Planches Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday, Planches Tuesday. Before we know it, we'll have 12 things going on a Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday is just that day of the week where, I don't know, it just feels like, okay, we're in the groove for the week. Wednesday, the hump, where you just want to get things done. And yeah,
I agree with you. And I think Monday is the verdict, it's like till the evening is like, okay, wait, we were just on Sunday.
right.
How did we get to Monday? And are we going to continue with this, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So what have you done? What did you do over the weekend? Did you do something fun or did you just chill?
Uh, what did I do over the weekend? Had a lot of
Oh,
downtime, a lot of just relaxing, spending time with self,
I love
introspection.
that.
What about you?
It went so fast. I know Saturday was busy, but Sunday was more of a chill day, which I really, appreciate.
Hmm.
Like, okay, it's time just to chill out a little bit before we're going to be in May, Chef. How did this
Yeah.
happen?
Yeah. Next week, right?
Yes.
Next week. Yeah.
hmm Next Thursday, is
Mm.
it? I go by Tuesdays. I keep my calendar by our
Oh
Tuesdays.
my
I
goodness.
know next Tuesday is the 29th, and so Wednesday's the 30th, and that would make Thursday the 1st. That's how I keep
Yeah.
ahead. Hello, everyone coming in. Thank you for joining us. How do you stay ahead, Chef?
How do I stay ahead? By just showing up in every moment, being present. I just place my feet to the floor and look around, and that's me staying ahead. Ian, Beth,
Hey, how's it going?
Hey,
good. How are
Ian.
you?
Happy Earth Day.
Yes, happy Earth Day. Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you for
Yeah.
making time to join us, fam. We'd like to introduce you to Ian Heieie. He is the research chef at Purist, the makers of Acremade, egg substitute and egg replacer. And what an opportune time to
Mhm.
be celebrating Earth Day.
Yes.
Yes, yes. And, talking about this egg crisis where maybe prices have declined a little in the wholesale side, but not in the retail side.
Mhm.
And the demand is still high. And we talk about Earth Day that started April 1970 to really bring awareness to the crisis and what's happening with our Earth. And here we are, 2025. And so our conversation today and being able to get Ian to join us, taking time out of his busy schedule as a food scientist. I think when we say food scientist, a lot of people think of, oh, Frankenstein kind of
Mhm.
food and they're tinkering with our food. Oh, no. But Ian's going to take the deep dive and clarify a lot for us. Ian, how was your weekend?
Oh, it was great. great. We had a wonderful holiday weekend and spent the time with family and just ate some great food. And yeah, it was awesome. We had great weather too here in Minnesota.
Okay, nice. Because
Yeah,
I know some people are getting snow still
yeah,
in
yeah,
areas.
yeah.
Yeah. Ian, tell us a little bit about how you got to where you are today here sitting with us.
Yeah. So after high school, wanted to keep cooking. That was my job, and to get gas money basically. And so I was just always drawn to food. So I went to culinary school right out of high school at Le Cordon Bleu here in Minneapolis. And from there, I got into restaurants and I worked at the Bachelor Farmer was my first job. And that restaurant, I became a sous chef and we won a James Beard Award. And I was there for about 6 years before getting the first head chef job at a resort in northern Minnesota. And then I became the head chef at another restaurant in Minneapolis that did pizza called Young Joni. And we won a James Beard Award there as well. So I had a great opportunity to work in some fantastic restaurants here in Minneapolis and in Minnesota before in 2020, I kind of took the opportunity to kind of reset. I wanted to start a family and my wife and I wanted to, take care of our house. And in order to really live the life that I wanted to, I had to make some changes. So instead of continuing that typical chef path in independent restaurants, I went back to school and got a degree in food science to be a scientist. And really, my drive was from a sustainability perspective. The restaurants I worked in, what I was really excited about was working with farmers, was working with local sustainable producers, for artisans, and everybody here in Minnesota has a wonderful sustainable food organization. And I wanted to use at the time I was cooking pork, and animals, and using nose to tail cooking, but also using all parts of the vegetables as well, and so being truly sustainable. And when I wanted to go back to school, it was really because as a chef in a restaurant, you can only reach 100 people a day, really. It's who comes into your restaurant and sits down, and there's definitely a huge impact in that. But I wanted to do something a little bit bigger than that, and so to pivot to the food industry was my main objective, and that's why I wanted to move to working with people like Purist and Acremade to push sustainable ingredients further. Better for the environment and better for people in general. And so I got a degree at the University of Minnesota. And then right out of school, found Purist. It was just a perfect opportunity. It was here in Minneapolis. The story is exactly what I like. It's a sustainable ingredient. For those who don't know, split yellow peas are nitrogen fixating crops. So what other plants like corn, and tomatoes do is they leach nitrogen from the soil. Legumes like peas add it back into the soil. So it's a great crop to add for farmers to do crop rotation and improve their soil health for regenerative agriculture going through time. And it uses a lot less water than other crops. So peas, they don't need as much moisture as soybeans or other vegetables. So there's a ton of research and sustainability efforts done in the yellow pea space, and the protein that is in the peas is extremely functional and delicious. So it can be used in a lot of different products, and that's kind of been my time here in Purist the last 2 years is exploring what we can put pea protein in, and it's been very, very interesting. It's very insightful and surprising for a lot of people.
I love that. I always say I love that. I know, sorry. People are like, you love everything. I do. I mean, there's things I don't love, but there's a lot I love about what we do. And I mean, you have such a rich, background in restaurant, 12 years, right? Probably more. And then at the highest level, when we talk fine dining, where you think you are, like you said, you're using everything from a sustainable point, and then you just have this idea, the hospitality, everything that comes, and then you go and you become this food scientist and this researcher. How have you bridged those two together where you've been able to, bring, like I say, all your inventory together, because not all chefs are mad
Right.
scientists,
Yeah.
you
Some of them are
know.
just mad. Yeah. Um, yeah.
And then not all mad scientists are chefs, right?
yeah. No, it's been wonderful. I've always been interested in the mad science part of it. The things I was really interested in were like fermented vegetables and making kimchi and sourdough bread. So I always had a drive to learn like what was going on, and that's what food science really gave me. And so when I've been in, you know, situations at Purist where I'm presenting an application that uses our Acremade egg or a pea protein, I can use the culinary flair, if you will, to really sell a product that people wouldn't see otherwise. I think, especially with ingredients, it's been it's very like it works here, and this is what it looks like. And I think as chefs, all three of us, we have an ability to tell a story a little differently and get people excited about ingredients in ways that you learn when you are a chef and you are talking to people and you just have an inherent passion for the ingredients that you work with. So it's been fun to find how to bridge the gap, and there's no formula, but it's definitely bringing an art to a science, which has been fun.
That's wonderful. Chef, I see the chat is kind of chatting. Do you see any comments we want to
Yes.
bring to Ian's attention or acknowledge?
Uh, let's see here. Happy Earth Day. This is great. I'll watch the replay from Lucia Vegan Lifestyle. And Nine Dresses says, thank you. I am recovering from cancer, so this is great. Yes. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here. Well, Ian, let's do just that, because I went on a local TV station. I've written an article about this egg crisis from a plant-based lens. And then I was the moderator of a webinar with Greener by Default, which is a great organization. So let's dive into what is Acremade and tell us, from the pea protein concept, because I talked about 7 different egg options. Acremade was one. But, some of us in the plant world know the flaxseed egg and the chia egg.
Right.
And then we've got tofu. We can do scramble.
Yeah.
So what makes Acremade stand out so much, even against other products that may be on the shelf or in the cooler section of the store?
Yeah, for sure. So just to do a quick explanation, Purus is the organization that makes pea protein. So we have a huge plant, like 250,000 square feet in Dawson, Minnesota, that we bring all the peas in, and then we just take out the other ingredients and spray dry the pea protein. So that's where we make like the powder. And then under our business, we have a brand called Acremade that makes this egg substitute. And so what really sets it apart is that it's a dry mix protein blend with a couple other functional ingredients that scrambles just like an egg. So there's other versions similar to this substitute out there. This one's amazing because it comes from peas. It's a regenerative agriculture crop, and it has that same protein content that you would expect from an egg, which you don't always see with some other products. And it works in a lot of recipes. I've used it to make omelets. I've used it to make scramble. I've used it to make frittata, strata, like a lot of fun variations. They say in culinary school, we learned that for every pleat in the toque is a way to cook an egg. And I think in 2 years, I've gotten about halfway around the toque with the Acremade substitute. So
Nice.
it's been pretty fun. Yeah. But it really is a fantastic ingredient that uses pea protein. And I don't know if I've come across any other products like that on the market right now.
Yeah. Now I've worked with it, and I know Chef has received product. I mean, it's been a year since we met at National Restaurant Association, and you guys had your booth, and the eggs were flying. I mean, you were doing all kind of things,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Is that really egg?" You
Yeah.
know, because it mimics. I shouldn't say mimics, but in the sense of someone that's used to an egg, I think it most closely would match, you know, what someone, like you said, a frittata, an omelet, even a scramble. I think that's the hard one. There's some products on the market and they may come a little close, but they don't really hit it on the head. And I know in the instructions, just for people that are interested, especially food service, because that's where you're based right now, working with food service, right?
Yep. There is an opportunity to buy it through our website in these
Oh,
bags, as well as Amazon, our Amazon shop.
okay.
But yeah, we're primarily in food service in larger
Yes.
formats, 5-pound bags, but we do have these smaller bags available online.
So in the instructions for the egg substitute, because I've made it about 20 plus times and, you know, experimented in my own kitchen as a mad scientist, it says use cold water. And I think it's important for people to kind of understand what's happening here, because here comes some of the science part of it. Like I know in the bakery I worked in, we were all vegan, and applesauce was one of the egg replacers that we used, but it needed to be cold. And it made a huge difference if someone grabbed warm applesauce off the shelf and hadn't grabbed the cold applesauce from the refrigerator. So you can, I like the science part of this. So can you tell us some of the tips there for people that may go and or be looking right now at Amazon or
Yeah.
whatever choice, your website?
Yeah, no, that's a great point to bring up. And that's something that we've talked about with our customers as well. The temperature does matter because there, like we said, there's pea protein and then a couple other functional ingredients. The thing with eggs is they're hard to beat. They functionally they do a million things, right? And they're one ingredient and that's the way that they work. So we can't just make a protein work the same without adding a couple other things to make it work that way. So there's a functional ingredient that's a gum, gelling gum, that needs to be cold before you put it in the pan because the temperature is what makes it thicken up and give that texture. And so if it were to get thick before it goes in the pan, it's not going to cook the same and give you the same eggy texture. It'll make it gummier, something that's unexpected. So there is a nuance to it. It's not that complicated, but it is
No.
something to definitely talk about. Yeah.
Well, I think people read fast
Yes. Oh,
and they're
me
just
too.
trying to get to it,
Yeah.
or they've used a product, a liquid product that's on the shelf, and they've just had to pour it out. And
Yep.
then let's talk about your baking replacer, because I do a lot of baking. I worked in a bakery, and there are a lot of bakers out there that I think would be attracted to this. And you know, I think this is a timely time today, Earth Day, or any other day, that we're all. It's not trying to, you know, chef Sesabek is vegan since birth. You know, he has the black card. I've been 25 years. Ian has been in it. But I think we all, as citizens, as much as we talk about Earth Day, I was at Climate Week last year in September, and we cannot leave the food aspect out of this. So we all have to consider, you know, flexitarians are probably pushing the needle the most when it comes to more plant-based foods being served in restaurants and available. And so we all need to be aware, I think, and what I think Plantish Live does really well, Chef Sesabek and I, it's our desire and our goal, our intention is to let everyone know this is another food product that you already eat vegetables, you already eat fruit. So, you know, you're kind of already in this, you know, game here that we're in. So this is why we're talking to Ian Pham and those of you that will watch the replay, because we have a high audience that watches the replay when we put it up, which we will. And so I want people to really understand it's not labeled as anything. It is a product. It is, you know, work that Chef Ian and purists have done to give us the cleanest product, a sustainable product, a regenerative product. He's already talked about the benefits of yellow peas, and we should probably be eating yellow peas also in their whole form. So let's talk about the substitute or the replacer, excuse me, the replacer product and how maybe it differs. Can I make an egg with the replacer? Can I use the substitute to bake with?
Yeah. So there is two products, and the replacer. Sorry, I get it mixed up sometimes in my head. The replacer does have, because eggs are so amazing, they will rise. So the replacer has a little bit of baking soda to help with the rise as well, and the substitute does not. So that is one of the main differences. Aside from that, they're very similar. And we're working on a product that would do both in one. So that would be the next version. I think we'll have that out soon, but that's in the works. But yeah, that's the main difference. And with the baking replacement, we've seen success mixing it with the dry or adding it to water and using it as an egg and then adding it, incorporating it. Depending on what you're using, there's plenty of ways to incorporate it. And on our website or through our contact, we could help with a specific application as well.
I love that. What are some of your favorite things to make with the product? I know you said eggs and omelets and such, but is there something else you've really gotten excited about?
Oh, we made a really wonderful brioche. I think we brought some brioche buns to the NRA too. I don't know if you saw them, but
I
we
missed
had
those, Ian.
yeah.
I missed those. I need a
Yeah.
rain check.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Maybe we'll send you some, but we had a big braided loaf as well, and we had some white cake that had buttercream frosting too. So we had a few bakery options at our booth, but I think the brioche, I'm just a sucker for brioche, and so being a plant-based person has been hard to miss out on that, and this ingredient has been able to have bring that back into my life.
That's awesome. And what's the feedback you're getting from chefs about your product and just, our mindset of, like you said, our hat that resembles how
Yeah.
many different ways we can make an egg. Some people hold on to those standards so hard, like, okay, so what does this mean? I can't wear my hat anymore. No,
Yeah.
what are some of the conversations you're having with chefs and their excitement or their inquiry about it all?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is it's a world of plant-based options right now. And so chefs especially they know that there's a demand and they need to pick and choose, and it's just so much new all at once. And what sets Acremade apart is it's dry and it's not something that has to take up space in the cooler, and it's good to go whenever you need it. I think that it's also very functional in the pan too, the way that you would expect egg to be. And so those two reasons really have been the biggest reason that chefs want to try it and have positive feedback.
And as a food scientist and a researcher, what are some of the main challenges you come up against, and how do you handle them?
Well, in terms of formulating this product,
This
or just
product,
in
yeah.
general, yeah. I think the trickiest part is the texture of the egg is very delicate. Well, actually, the real difference is everybody likes their eggs differently, and so my soft scramble might be different from somebody else's hard scramble, from somebody else's medium scramble. So when we're using other ingredients and we're trying to match a scrambled egg texture, we might nail it as a hard scramble, but the people who like soft scramble aren't going to like it as much. So what we've had to do is find that middle of the ground, and then also widen the spec for what will work in the product itself. And I think we've gotten into a good place, but that was a huge challenge, was getting the feedback and learning, kind of realizing that it's one of those preference things. Some people like their eggs burnt, some people don't like any color on their eggs. And so it's been taking in a lot of sensory feedback and deciding which way to go with it.
Yeah. And of course, then what are some of your highest moments since you've been with Purist that you guys just celebrate, that you can share with us, that you may not put on a billboard and say, oh, we nailed that, or just some of the insights that you see as far as food, the future of food.
Yeah, I think we've seen some big wins with our the pea protein being incorporated in other products on the market. You know, the egg is one example, and that's the analog category has been booming for sure. And that's just one area, right? So seeing plant proteins as an addition to other things out there in the world really is amazing to see. And I think that the protein boom is happening as well, where we see this has 10 grams of protein, this has 10 grams of protein. A lot of the time it is a whey protein or a milk protein concentrate. But really in the last, I want to say year, we've seen a ton of uptick with plant-based, especially pea protein. And I think people are realizing that it is a complete protein. It has all the amino acids that you need, and it's extremely functional in a lot of different ways. So we've seen a ton of adoption in that category, and I think that's probably been our biggest win. And then as a chef, being able to show people that and try it in different ways in a pizza crust or pasta has been a lot of fun as well.
That's exciting. Chef Sesabek, have you had any chance to play with the product? I don't mean play, but that's what we chefs do when we get a new ingredient or a gadget or something. We're like, it's Christmas time or whatever we celebrate.
Sure. No, I have it on my counter right here to play with later on today. So I look forward to, just getting my hands on it and just seeing what I make. For
Yeah,
sure. Yeah. But I just love this conversation. My favorite show as a kid was How It's Made. And I feel like you're, virtually walking us through this process and you're explaining everything. So it's just amazing just to hear the insight.
that's cool. I've used it to make quiche. I've used it to make scramble. I think it took me about 3 times, and I was just about to push Ian's phone number to say, okay. I think I'm pretty smart.
Yeah.
But the taste was there. And then once I got it, I got it. And so, there might be that nuance, but I think sometimes it's harder for chefs than, if I was just in my head at home cooking because I'm so intent on getting this way. I've used it for frittata really successfully. I love using it as an omelet, and you do your veggie omelet and you put, whatever cheese you eat in it. And then the replacer I've gotten, I love it in my pumpkin muffins, my sweet potato muffins. That's what I did on the show using applesauce. And I've played around with some of the nuances that I had in the bakery and then adding it, but it's so smooth and so easy to use, and so that's the fun part for me. And cookies, of course, it's just a no-brainer. Or anything that calls for eggs. It is such a one-to-one easy, if you're making or using the replacer, it's that 1 tablespoon of your powder and then 3 tablespoons of water. So I already have that down kind of with the chia, 1 tablespoon, 3 tablespoons of water, flax ground, 1 tablespoon, 3 tablespoons of water. So I think it's something, again, that's just kind of you roll right into it and you get so used to it. I love the fact that you talk about it shelf stable, so you don't have to worry about what's in your refrigerator, what you forgot, or, I'll put something in a jar in the refrigerator and I'm thinking, well, it's just me, I'm going to remember. And I go into my refrigerator and dig in the back, and sometimes I got this science project going on. And things are starting to grow. And I'm like, okay, we're just going to bypass that one because, right now you've got 4 jars and they're all looking alike. So I do that when I get new products. I put it through the test. I put it through the battery test. I think we do that as chefs more than when I'm just in my home kitchen cooking, because and we're training other people, we're working with other people, so we have to pass that along and get everybody on board. And not everybody gets as excited as being a mad scientist as I do. What have you learned different? When you went into school, you thought about, okay, I'm going into food science and I'm going to be a researcher. What didn't you know that you know now about it, especially with your journey with purists and how you're looking at the future of food?
Yeah, I'll be honest, I thought I had a good grasp of it going into it, and I knew kind of what I was getting into. But at the end of the day, after school, I'm barely scratching the surface. I think I have a lot of skills as a chef that uh, that I can translate to this other field. But ultimately, people with a lot of education and academic ability spend a lot of time in food because food is important. And I think people kind of gloss over that in terms of a lot of aspects of the human experience. We have like culture, society, and but as well as like health and hunger. There's all sorts of things that food touches in throughout our everyday life, and it's been so cool to start with this new journey and learning about what else I can do and how else I can make a difference. And pea protein has been a great start, and so far it's just been fantastic. I've met so many wonderful people like you both, and I think that just learning how ingredients like pea protein can make a difference and impact is one thing that I just had no idea going into it. That now seeing that change has been really inspiring.
That's awesome. Chef, you see any chat comments we should call out?
Let's see here. I think we're all caught up. Oh, from Clover Valley Culinary, we have food is life. Food is life indeed. Absolutely.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
Chef, I
definitely.
know you always have some questions for our guests.
Absolutely.
Um,
Yeah,
I'll let you
yeah, for
take it
sure.
over.
Absolutely. So we're about to shift on over to the quick fire. Ian, you can answer these questions within 30 seconds or so, a couple words,
Okay, got it.
just so that, our audience, our fans can get to know you better. So the first question I have for you is scramble, omelet, or quiche. What is your go-to thing to make at
Oh,
home using?
omelet all day. Yes, I love it.
Okay.
I learned how to do a rolled French omelet, and it's just one of my
Mm,
favorite things
okay.
for breakfast.
Okay. Nice. What ingredients are you adding into your omelet?
Oh, red pepper, onion. Um, I put my cheese on there and then roll it up, and it's fantastic.
Okay. All right.
This
Sounds good. Next.
this time of
Oh.
year, I'm adding like ramp oil.
Mhm.
I don't know if you guys have had any
Mhm.
ramps popping up, but I see them popping up in my backyard, so I'll be adding ramp oil to it as well. Add a little green pop and flavor.
Nice. Beautiful. Okay. Next question. What ingredient can't you live without in your kitchen?
Oh man, this one might be weird, but we we have to have soy sauce at home. I add it to a lot of stuff because it adds umami. And also adds a little bit of salt, and I think it's that and miso are kind of probably on the same level. Just good way to add depth.
Mm, okay. 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 Next question. If you weren't a chef, what career path would you be in right now?
Oh man, these are hard questions. Uh, okay, if I wasn't a chef, you know what I was going to school for before I did spend 1 year at another college. I was going to be a band teacher. So I was studying music to be a band teacher. That's probably what I'd be if it wasn't for food.
Wow. Is there like a specific instrument that you gravitated towards?
Yeah, I was a saxophone player.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can totally see that.
Yeah,
I
dude.
can
Yeah.
see Ian in a club,
Yep.
lights dim,
Yep.
spotlight on him,
Exactly.
just
Yep.
jamming, and on the other side, pushing out omelets.
Yes. Oh
Yeah.
man, yes. That's my dream is to have a jazz club that makes omelets.
Hey, we're
Why
here.
not?
We're planting seeds, so you never know
Yeah, you
what
don't
the
know.
future holds.
You don't know.
Absolutely. Next question. What's one thing most people don't know about you, but should?
Oh, that I don't dye my hair. I have gotten that question my whole life. People ask me if I dye my hair. I don't dye my hair, and people continue to ask me. I don't know why.
Mm,
Because they want your color. I've
They
never
do.
thought to ask you, do you dye your hair? But now that you've said it,
Uh-huh.
Yes. There are people that are looking for the box. They want you to tell them the number
Uh-huh.
S50,
Oh, okay.
S15, because they want to
Got
get
it.
those highlights you have going on.
Uh-huh.
There's no way they think that that is just coming out of your scalp naturally.
Yep. It is. And I've been getting it my whole life. And my daughter has the same color hair. So I'll tell her the same feedback you gave me. We'll have to memorize the box and then she can tell people that.
I
I
think what
love
you
it.
need to do is go ahead and make the food hair color.
Oh, okay. Yeah. There you go.
And you know, do the do. So people will be happy and put your daughter on the, I'm in marketing, put your
Yes,
daughter
you
on the
are.
packaging
Yep.
with the hair, and
Yes.
get the color right. Add some of the egg in it for body and
Uh-huh.
conditioning
Yeah.
elements. Here
Yep.
we go, Ian.
I
See,
love it. You
opportunities
guys
at
have
every corner.
so many business opportunities are coming up in this. This is great.
Absolutely. Wow. Okay. So the last question I have for you is what's the best piece of advice you've ever received and how has it influenced you?
Ooh, the best piece of advice was from my grandfather. It was on my graduation party from high school. He said he put his hand on my shoulder and he said, "Ian, keep your wits about you." That was all he said. And so, I didn't really know what that meant, but the older I got, the more and more I realized like it is easy to just kind of let your guard down and just kind of go through life and not make, clear, concise decisions. And it is important to take a second and slow down and really think about the whole, the whole situation or opportunity as a whole, because um, it's your life, and it's up to you to make it the way you want it. So you got to keep your wits about you.
Oof.
Yeah.
Very, 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 very wise words. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. That concludes the quick fire. You did great.
Wow, I made it. That
You
was stressful.
survived,
That was
Ian. You
Yeah.
survived.
Yeah.
Chef Sesabek will come with the quick fire questions. Sometimes I'm sitting over here going, "Woo, I'm glad he's not interviewing me." But it is meant to be fun. It is to take us out of our, always feeling like, not that we have to have an answer, but just the first thought that comes to mind, because I think with all that, we've got AI videos, we don't know if people are real or not. It's kind of like breaking that you're not a bot,
Yep.
you're real. We
Yeah.
can meet you. And that's the thing we love, bringing people on like yourself, because often we're buying products, most often we're buying products and we're spending our money and we really like something and we don't really know the people behind it
Mhm.
often.
Yep.
And so our guests have come on and their products that Chef Sesabek and I either use, we're already spending our money on, or we come across, we meet someone like you, at Natural Restaurant Association. And it's like, I see something here and I am not, Chef Sesabek will tell you, I will not be afraid to reach out and say,
Yeah.
listen, do you want to come? Especially when we've worked with the product
Yeah.
and we know that others should know about it. So can you tell us again where food service people can go to your website? I pinned Acremade in the chat.
Mhm.
Um,
Yep.
I see someone said yellow pea protein hair
Yeah.
dye. Okay,
I
that's
love it.
coming up. Someone else said great advice to what I guess your great advice had been. So, people think what you're sharing is cool. We love that. Thank you, fam, for being here. You could be anywhere and you're here with us. We show up Tuesday, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time and 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we love our guests that come on, that share and take the time out of their busy schedules to just let us know what's happening. But Ian, yes, if you could tell us the best place food service wise to find your product and then repeat again, I guess Acremade would be correct.
Acremate.
The
Yep.
website I pinned. Okay.
100%. That'd be the place to contact us, and we can get working with you in whatever capacity it is.
How do you see the future of food, Ian? Not just in general to pea protein. What do you
Ooh.
see happening that we're going to see over the next, I'd say, 1 to 3 years that you guys that you can speak of are really watching and paying attention to?
Yeah, so there's a lot of there's I guess two things that I see as a general overarching themes, and one of them is a huge switch to more whole food, plant-based ingredients, or just whole food ingredients in general. And I think there's been in the last 20 years, we've had a lot of like plant-based burgers that use a lot of different ingredients, long ingredient lists in every category. And I think what I've seen a lot is the most new product launches in the last year or so have been smaller ingredient labels and more intelligent or thoughtful macros. So we've got like protein, fiber, things that we know our body needs, and not just junk that is going to do us better in the long term. And the other thing with that is smaller portion sizes. I think in the across the board, our portion sizes have been getting to a more normal place in the U.S. But with the rise of these GLP-1 drugs, I think people are eating less and less and less. And so in those smaller portion sizes, making sure that that's super healthy, it's got the nutrients that they need, and it's not just junk, but it's got it's got what their body needs.
Yeah. And since it is Earth Day, what do you think all of us as just society really need to think about as far as contributing to, a world that our future can be able to thrive in? Your children and other people who are here with us or watching who have children. I mean, I think we have to really step out of our comfort zone in a lot of areas, and it's really pertinent at this time. And I'll take advantage of Earth Day to have everyone that, leaves our conversation today or watches it later. At the end of the day, I think we should all think about what can I really do? What more can I really do? And how can I do it? What would you say to our audience or anyone listening in later to think about?
I think, well, you're bringing the hard questions too, Nina. I would say the one thing to think about is how are you bringing your food home from the store, and what's the packaging that food is in? Also, with the waste, what are you doing with the waste? Because I think the biggest thing we could all be doing is buying less packaged foods and composting whatever we have extra, and then using that to grow gardens or trees. So how do we capture that carbon? I think we can do that in a variety of ways, but I think composting, buying less packaged foods, and bringing your own bags to the grocery store are all simple things, but I forget sometimes, even though I'm in this world, and that would be the biggest thing to think about.
Yeah, I think we all can forget. I've got the bag thing down. Every time I go to the store, they're like, you need bags? And then someone that knows me, nope, she's got her bags. I've got them set up in the cart, ready to go, pack my own stuff, because during 2020, they taught us so well, they wouldn't touch anything, right? And so now when they try to touch, I'm like, stop, you trained me well, back away from the merchandise. And they just laugh at me, but you did train me well. And, now I'm considerate of that. Fam, we've got Acremade here with us. Ian, Heieie from Purist, sharing all the things that you can do with, products like Acremade, that is a pea protein, all the amino acids that you need, as Ian shared. It's shelf stable. This is not a commercial. This is what I do, because it's one thing to talk about all these things and then keep it as the best kept secret. And people are like, well, what's the product? Where do I get it? How do I use it? That's just my naturalness that comes out to let people know, not be gatekeepers. And so as chefs, all three of us here are chefs, working chefs in the trade, and we have the opportunity to probably see products coming out first before they ever hit the shelf. So we're excited that Ian Heieie, joined us. He is the research chef at Purist, the makers of Acremade, and they just have a huge future. If you're just coming in, Ian's 12 years in fine dining was, allowed him to pivot into food science and we're thrilled to have him here. He's a brilliant, brilliant chef, and I would say now food scientist. And we are going to have him back. Ian, we always ask our guests to tell us
please.
that they'll come back, because we know that you and your team are going to have some other things that you may not be able to talk about right now, but we like getting the dibs on things before they hit the press. Clover Valley journey. Yes, amazing journey Ian has had. You know, Ian, I used to babysit a little boy named Ian.
Oh, really?
And the name just stuck with me. And I was quite young, and I was like, oh, whenever I have a son, he's going to be named Ian. So, you know, people want your hair color, and you should really work on that. And Ian is a popular, very favorite name of mine. So I wanted to share that with you. Do you see any other comments, Chef? I see claps. Hello, Purist Foods. Thank you for being here and supporting us. Great advice. I see, yeah, just a lot of activity. As you know, we will repost this replay. I am sure Ian has a lot on his plate. I see his eyes moving around. People are looking at him. I know that look like, okay, enough already. Get to work.
Absolutely.
So, any last words, Chef Sesabek?
No, we said it all. Ian, this was incredible. Thank you so much for joining us. And yeah, I look forward to you joining us again and, us diving in. I feel like this is like really getting under the hood of food, and it's beautiful. So thank you. Thank you so much for this conversation.
Chef Sesabek, everything that you've heard Ian share, what's the first thing now, maybe in your head, that you want to use the products that you received? What are you thinking to make? Omelet, scramble, or frittata?
I want to put on my apron and I want to bake something.
Okay.
I want to try my hand at that bread, the brioche
Uh,
bread.
that sounds good.
Yeah. So we'll see how that comes out for sure.
You're going to love it. Yeah, it's going to be great.
Yeah, I look forward to it.
Ian, is there anything that you can share with us that we should look out for, or we just have to wait until you come and join us again to tell us something that's cooking?
I think that's it right there. You're going to have to wait until I come back.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, I can't wait to do it. This has been a blast.
Thank you so much for your time, Ian. Thank you again, fam, for tuning in. Those of you that join us live, Tuesdays, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Of course, I thank my co-host, Chef Sesabek. I couldn't do it without him, and we couldn't do it without you, community. So please, when we repost, please drop in the chat what you learned, what you'd like to see from Ian and Purist, because we are real people and we do listen and take into consideration the needs. Happy Earth Day to everyone. Let's walk out into all of our brilliance, as we like to say, and we will see you next Tuesday, if not before. Thank you again, Ian. Thank you, Chef Ian, Chef Sesabek, and fam for joining us.
Thank you. Happy Earth Day.
Yes, thanks again for having me. Yeah, happy Earth Day.
Yes. Bye, everyone.
Bye.